What's going on, guys? Back again on the Tamiya SRB Volkswagen Beetle Rat Rod. So, remember in the last video, the wheels I'm trying to use here, these 3D printed Model A style wheels, they have 12mm hex. And this is the shaft from that buggy chassis. And that is pressed on, glued on, something. And there's no real way to do that. There's some adapters out there, but I haven't been able to find any. And I know I've seen these with a pin through them. So I don't know what models came with what, but my re-release Sand Scorcher has the pressed on ones. This original Rough Rider has a 12mm hex in there. So we're going to take that off, and it's real easy to pull the shafts on these, and it's a good thing I did because that one just has a brass bearing, brass bushing. So we'll swap in some ball bearings for that while we're there. But yeah, I need to see if we can use some kind of 12mm hex. These are some wideners. Do something to make this jive and work together, and be able to bolt those wheels on without any issue. So I'm going to pull this one apart here, and we'll see what we can do. Alright, so again, this one pressed on. This is the one off of the Rough Rider. It's got pin set up on it. So problem is, not sure if you can see that. I can't see, my camera so far away. Put the pin in, 12mm hex sets on it, but the shaft is larger diameter than the center of the wheel, so we don't actually get anything in but the threads. And B, even if I were to drill that out, we'd have so much shaft sticking through the nut would never hold it. So what I'm thinking, I can forego that, use one of these wideners, which I wish I had more variety of size, because this one I think is going to be too thick. Yeah, there's not enough sticking out to get a nut on it all the way to the nylon. So we need a custom width 12mm hex, and we'll have to measure that up and see what we can do. Alright, so if we use one of these wideners in here, this one unfortunately is going to be a little too long. We don't have enough thread sticking through the end to actually get a nut on there. But that would work. We just need it about 6 or 8 millimeters narrower. So let me take a look at what I've got, see what we can make, see what we can figure out. Alright guys, so this video didn't go quite as planned. Got those wheel extender, the hex extenders, sanded down as far as I could. I probably took 6 millimeters off of it at least. It's close. If I had some shallower wheel nuts. I could probably get it to hold. So I don't know yet how I'm going to feel about that. I can't really go much more. I took just about everything off of there I could. And yeah, it's close. I need another 3 millimeters. So I may have to look for some wheel wideners that are just the right length so we don't have to modify them. But at least we got an idea now what we need to do. And I got the other one swapped back on to my Rough Rider. And everything works fine. They're completely interchangeable. So yeah, if you're trying to put 12 millimeter hex wheels on your vintage SRB, there's a easier way maybe. Other than buying some adapters from China that you have to wait for months and months to get here. But went ahead while I was here and got the steering installed. I just used the cheap Futaba servo. It was like 11 bucks, nothing fancy. This doesn't have a whole lot of range of motion. It's full lock pretty much, so that servo is going to do plenty. Now I did create a little problem in there for myself. The front thing, a little turnbuckle arm here off of the body post does the whole steering mechanism. I tried to drill out the hole just so I could use a standard 3mm bolt through it. It's probably a 2 or a 1.5. And not thinking about it, it's old. This is nearly 40 years old, so that plastic was brittle, and as soon as it started biting through, it just snapped the end of it off. So just reconfigured it a little bit, drilled me a new hole down further in the meatier part of that. It's going to affect the range a little bit, but it'll probably work. If not, I can get those off the re-release. I'm sure I can find that parts tree and swap it out. But got a nice aluminum servo horn on here because the little plastic one that it came with was just crap. The back hole, okay, so the servo mounts, I ordered some generic servo mounts and I didn't realize they were from China, and they're like 2 months, and I can't, all the ones that ship out of the United States are like $10 a pair, and I'm not going to pay that. That's ridiculous for 2 pieces of metal, little squares. So the ones I got coming, they're would have used for this, but it worked out in the end because this already has an existing hole. These are aluminum mounts off the Jalan 2 RC4 drive chassis. I use those on a lot of stuff. I use them on the Winnebago, a lot of the custom stuff. It's convenient. This hole is already on the chassis. This is where the front rubber bushing screw for the plastic tub. So that hole is already there, dead center, and I just mounted that one. Used that offset one, marked the hole, and drilled it. 2 bolts. Easy, simple. It fits really well. The hood line sits right on that, and it curves up, and we've got perfect amount of space in there to do everything. This is about where the driver's feet would be if we had a full-sized figure. So it eats up a little bit of space for interior, but we'll still have room for a dash. This won't interfere with any of that. And yeah, for future plans. Yeah, this video hadn't been going very smooth, so I didn't make everything got done that I wanted to get done, but none of it's as good as I wanted to do it. So we'll have to see what we come up with in the future for this, but I guess we'll wrap this one up, keep it short. Appreciate y'all watching. Oh, I did weather the sunroof piece. I still haven't decided if I'm going to glue it in and sand it down and fill the hole, or I'm just going to glue it down and leave it, or I'm going to go crazy and cut a whole rag top in it. And I still haven't sorted out the rear body mounts yet. I don't know. I feel like it's not to the point yet. I've got to get this motor to stay on better. I never really got around to that. I'm afraid it's 3D printed, so I got to be careful drilling holes. I don't want to break any more plastic, but this thing's kind of frustrating me today, so I'm just going to wrap it up. We made some progress, and I'm still digging the way this looks. But I appreciate y'all watching, and I wanted to give a shout out to my one patron on Patreon. So big thanks to Preston Rad. He, my one patron. I've been posting some pictures and stuff on Patreon. You know, I don't have a whole lot of stuff to offer, but just trying to do some behind the scenes stuff and things like that. And I don't know who you are, but someone bought a t-shirt and a mug. I haven't sold any merchandise in a few months, so it's greatly appreciated. And I appreciate everybody for watching. You know, YouTube's not paying much these days because nobody's marketing, I guess, because of the pandemic. But views and stuff are up, so getting more people seeing it. Eventually it'll work out. But keep it scale, And I will see you all in the next video.